Hey, sports fans, I want to welcome everybody to a brand new series here on Got Next Gaming. We're going to go ahead and do a fantasy draft team here. We're going to completely do a complete fantasy draft. We're going to go ahead and pick a team in here. I kind of tried this way back when Madden came out, and I lost the footage for it. I used the Baltimore Ravens. They're kind of one of my secondary favorite teams, if I have a second favorite team, past the Jets. And I am doing this because I was inspired by one of my subscribers to the channel that asked me about it, and it kind of reinvigorated me to do this all over again. It's Sage Allen. I want to thank you personally. You are an inspiration to me, and I absolutely love you to death. You have no idea. And so we're going to go ahead and do the full coach experience here, and we're going to jump in and do fantasy draft with the current rosters the way they are. So there'll be some very big differences as far as ratings go, because some guys started the season with better ratings than they have now based upon their play. It's one of the cool things about Madden, how they keep updating it so that you kind of have live ratings as we go through. You'll see some guys are better than they were, and obviously guys who are worse than they were as well. So this is the fantasy draft. We're going to go ahead and jump into the draft very soon. Kind of goes quickly. We were looking more towards an offensive juggernaut here. I usually typically kind of focus on defense when I play these types of games, but I definitely went to the offensive mind on this one. But just so that I don't screw myself on defense, I kind of took a strategy here going into this. I'll pick two offensive players, and then I'll pick two defensive players back to back. So, draft, pick one will be offense, pick two will be offense, pick three will be defense, pick four will be defense, and then pick five would be back to offense, so on and so forth, so that I don't completely screw myself on defense, because I have done that before where I'm going to make picks. So here is pick number one. We are number 25 on the clock. We're going to go ahead and jump in here. I will try to explain where I can some of my thought process in making my picks so that you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from. So right away, looking at the draft board, best available quarterbacks. I kind of looked at this as slim pickings. Do I want a Jay Cutler who's older? Don't really like Eli Manning. Ryan Tannehill has the highest rating based upon our coach. But I wanted to go young here and try to get a young offense as young as possible so that we can build for the future. And maybe if we can't win something or go to the playoffs in the first round, in the first year, we can go in the second. So we take Jameis Winston there, rookie quarterback who's with Tampa Bay currently. But now it's with the Baltimore Ravens. So pick number two here, we're going to go ahead and try to find ourselves a wide receiver to complement our rookie quarterback, and there's a lot of great guys here now. One of the things you don't have to do is go for a wide receiver right away, but we're definitely going to do that because we want an elite wide receiver. That was my thought process here. A lot of great guys: Alshon Jeffrey, Odell Beckham Jr., Antonio Brown. You see Demaryius Thomas there, Calvin Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins is one of my favorite, but I'm going to go Antonio Brown. How can you not? Young, incredible wide receiver. Pick number three, here we are now. We're going to go defense. Like I said in my promise in the beginning of this, we're going to go two offense, two defense, and then we're going to go back to offense. We're going to go back to offense again. So what am I going to do here for defense? What do I take? Do I take the best defensive player on the board in Ndamukong Suh, or do I try to build on the ends of the defensive line? I definitely want to go defensive line first. I kind of like to get myself a nice elite right end. You can see there's not many of them left already. We have Greg Hardy, who's a solid player on the right side of 30 years old, so he's younger, and it's definitely going to be a good pick to start with here for our defense. But what do we do for our second pick in the defense? How do we want to stack this out? Do we want to go again on the defensive line and kind of stack it up real tight and real strong, or do we want to go somewhere in the secondary, maybe a cornerback or a safety somewhere? I like Will Hill III, and he's got that great hit power. He's good in the zone coverage, and he's one of the better safeties in the league. So I went ahead and picked him for my first secondary player in this draft. So let's go back to offense now. We're going to have to work on offense. I want a strong offensive line. I'm going to go all in offensive line here early. You're going to see that. It may not make sense, but it will make sense down the road, because then I have pieces that I can trade if I want to. So we picked up Zach Martin there for the right guard in that one. Now we're going to look offense again, and I want to build again on that offense and make it a juggernaut. What do? You get yourself a good pass receiving tight end in Jordan Cameron. Now it's time for the defense once again, and we're going to take a look, see where we're going to go here. Cornerbacks are slim pickings already for cornerbacks. It always seems to happen. It's one of those things that you should probably go for early. There's a bunch of good guys out here. Antonio Cromartie is a good one. I like him because he's a Jet, obviously. Then there's Brent Grimes, who's the best rated on the board. I think I'm going to go in that route because he's got good acceleration and he's got good man coverage as well, skills, and he's got great awareness and acceleration. So we'll go ahead and take him as our first cornerback taken on the board here. Jumping into our next pick, we still have to go defense. Now we need some linebackers. Linebackers are thin and ready as well. I don't get it. What's going on? Do we go to middle linebacker or do we go to the outside linebackers? I think what we need to do here is we need to build from the inside out. In this case, so we have a good, solid linebacker up the middle to stop the run here and there. Right outside linebackers, there's some good choices there in like DeMarcus Ware. Very tempting, but yes, we're going to go for the middle linebacker. I like Derek Johnson. He's a little bit on the older side there at 32 years old. As solid as he is and as impressive as he is and as intriguing as it is and tempting, I think we're going to go Ray Mayaluga here to be our middle linebacker as he is young. He's got great tackle and hit power, some good numbers across the board there, and we're going to use him for our middle linebacker to start off there. We do have a 4-3 type defense, so we got to keep that in mind as well going forward to get ourselves a complement to him. But we're going back to offense. Do we go halfback here? Nah, I don't think so, folks. You're going to see that I go halfback really later on. You could pick up a good halfback way down the road. You don't have to go this early for a halfback, but maybe we do. Yeah, you know what? Devonta Freeman, 89 overall. He's been playing great so far in the league up to this point as he's come out of nowhere as a rookie to do some great stuff. So we're definitely going to take him now. Why not? We can still pick up great running backs later on as well. I mean, we're already into like our 8th pick here. So what are we going to do? We're going to go all in on offensive line. A 97 for the left guard. Gotta love it there. Take a look here. Pick number. We're going to go for another cornerback here as we go back to defense. We're looking at Antonio Cromartie again. Very, very tempting to me. Jonathan Joseph has a little bit better in the play recognition and acceleration. I think we'll go with him instead to kind of shore up the cornerback situation for us. Now we have to go to defense once again. We're looking at linebackers here. There's not much to pick from in the linebacking core. We'll go Bud Dupree here as he's the best rated overall. Good tackle, good hit power, good acceleration and speed numbers here. He's got some good athleticism. We like that, so we'll take that for a outside linebacker to go there. And we got pick number 13 here for us. We're going to look again on the offense. Again, offensive line, we're going all in. We want a good, solid foundation to build around. So we'll go Donald Penn here, left tackle. Got to get that blind side shored up. And we're going to go offensive line again. We're going to get ourselves a good elite center in Nick Mangold, one of the better centers in the league by my estimation, and not because I'm a Jets fan. Pick 15, we're going back to defense. Here we are. We need to get something in the free safety range. We don't have one yet. I like Rashad Johnson. He's on the better side of 30. He's got some good speed numbers, and he can play very well as he's got good recognition skills as well. So let's take a look at pick 16 here. We have to go back to the defense once again. I've always liked Robert Mathis. I think he's a steal, even at a 78 overall, even though he's a little bit older at 34 years old. He's got great veteran presence. You will see as we play with him, he will be a good pickup for us at this portion of the draft. So we're going to go defense again as it's our second defensive pick. We need another defensive tackle here. We need a defensive tackle here, so we'll go Kendrick Ellis in this one to pick up a decent little defensive tackle there in the middle of the line. And now we have to address the other side of the line as well. We have Rob Ninkovich here, or Corey Redding. Corey Redding's 34 years old. I think we're going to go Ninkovich because he's got great acceleration and tackle, good speed on him there. He's got a good motor, this guy, great endurance. So we're going back to offense, and we need some wide receivers. We only picked up one so far, but there are still great wide receivers to pick. Mike Wallace. Good acceleration, good speed, good agility, but the thing that gets me the most is his spectacular catches in 87. At this point in the draft, to pick up a guy like this who can be a playmaker for us, to play the other side of the receiving core, excellent. We're going to go wide receiver again, though, and Akeem Nicks is very tempting to me. I like him better than I like Justin Blackmon, but you know what? Justin Blackmon's not going to give us any of those off-field problems that he has, and this man has great spectacular catch and traffic skills with some decent speed. But he's another playmaker for that slot position for us. So great pick for us there on that one. moving forward. We got pick number 21. We're getting into the mid rounds here for this. I think it was about 50 or so, or 60. So we're not going to do all 60. We're going to do probably just the starters or whatnot. But we need to pick ourselves up a right tackle. We didn't get that side of the line yet. With the good tight end, we don't have to really focus so much on right tackle. We'll pick up Mitchell Schwartz here at a 78 overall, and that should be good enough for us to get a decent line. We got a good interior line there, but the guys I looked at for the outsides were mostly pass blockers, which is kind of what you more what you need than anything else going to that. And in this particular spot here, we're going to pick up a good fullback. I know most people are going to probably scream at me for this one, but my type of style and the game that I play offensively, I use the fullback a lot. We're going to pick up a good one in Patrick DeMarco. And now we're going back to defense. We need another defensive lineman here, another defensive tackle to kind of back up Kendrick Ellis. I like Cullen Jenkins, always have, even though he's on the older side here. He is a veteran presence and has got great awareness to shore up the middle of that line to spell Kendrick Ellis in that situation. We need more cornerbacks as well. Antoine Cason is very tempting here, but Buster Screen has better speed and better agility and better acceleration. Well, not better acceleration, slightly slower in acceleration, but he's got good zone coverage skills, and he will be able to play very well on the slot receiver. I like him. He obviously is on the Jets this year, and it kind of brought my attention to him, but I like what he can bring to us as a nickel back in those situations when we need the extra cornerback in the play. So now what do? Do we go again, get ourselves a backup running back? I think that might be a good idea at this point. I like Jacquizzi Rodgers. I mean, is he better than Bobby Rainey Jr.? Not really. Got a little bit better on the speed numbers, but I just like his name better altogether. Jacquizzi, man, you can't go wrong with that, right? So going back to defense now, this time around, we got to get ourselves a complement in the middle linebacker there. We are running a 4-3, so we need somebody that can play middle linebacker for us next to our starter. Our big starter anyway. Stephon Anthony here is the pick in this one, as he's got great numbers for this portion of the draft. Number 27. Pick number 27. We got to go defense again, I believe. Or do we just go top of the board and say get the best that's available out there? I don't think so. We definitely need to work on... I'm sorry. We're going back to offense this time around. My mistake there. Going back to offense, looking just, I guess, for depth here now at this point. Definitely looking for some depth players in the offensive line. So we pick ourselves up a left tackle there. Pick number 28, looking for another tight end. And again, we want another pass-catching tight end here. We don't use tight ends to block so much in my scheme of things. So we'll go Joe Dresden, as he's got some good catch and traffic numbers and good spectacular catch numbers, can be a playmaker for us as well. Looking here, we're going to be looking for, I believe, a quarterback here, a backup quarterback in Matt Flynn. That should be good enough for our situation here. So we're not going to show you the rest of the picks as we see number 52 here. We're going to go ahead and skip in the draft. I dig up to about pick 52 myself, and then I let the AI pick the rest of it for me. We are going to now take a look at our depth chart. We got Jameis Winston, we got Matt Flynn, and some guy named T. Lewis. I didn't even, Thad Lewis. Don't even know who he is. Never even heard of him. We have Devonta Freeman. We can see Jacquizzi Rodgers is injured. I wish I would have let you know that in the draft, but I wasn't paying attention to that portion of it. You see my fullback, Patrick DeMarco, and obviously his backups are the tight ends. You could take a look at my wide receiving core, some pretty solid wide receivers. If you ask me, this should be pretty decent for us, a 97 and 81 and a 78 overall. I will take it all day. We got another injured wide receiver out there as well. That's okay. But we got two great tight ends as far as I'm concerned, and Jordan Cameron and Joel Dresden should serve our purposes. We could take a look at offensive line. This is where we went all out in offensive line. And you can see how solid it is on the interior. And the two bookends on the offensive line are pass blocking linemen that can play pretty well for us in those situations. Now, taking a look at the defensive line, you have Ninkovich here, who is not highly rated, but he's got a good motor. He's got great intangible numbers as well. We have Greg Hardy, who is kind of our elite lineman at this point, and we're going to take a look at our defensive tackles in Ellis and Jenkins. Like I said, Jenkins on the older side, but a great veteran presence. It'll be good to back up Ellis. And then we take a look at Dupree and Maluga and Mathis as our linebackers. There will be our starting linebackers here for us in the 4-3 that we're playing, as well as looking at our cornerbacks, Brent Grimes and Jonathan Joseph. two good cornerbacks with Buster Screen backing them up, and we even have Hayden in there as well, looking awesome as well. We got Rashad Johnson. Kenny Phillips as a backup isn't a bad deal. Will Hill is our strong safety and probably our best defensive back on the team. We picked up Crosby as well as a kicker, and Leckler, who's one of the better punters in the league. So we'll take a quick look here at the cards and how they stack up as far as the offense and defense go in this one. So we also want to take a look at the free agents as well that are available out there to see. We're just taking a look at the best available free agents, and it's a kicker and a punter and a fullback and a whole bunch of other kickers and stuff like that. So not much to choose from beyond that. But we'll take another look at that again at the end of the preseason to see if there's anybody better after preseason and releases and whatever else. So we do have week 1. I am not going to play the preseason except for the first game just to see how my team stacks out. So in the next episode, I will bring you the first preseason game, mostly just the highlights of it, and I will bring you the first game of the regular season as well. Because, like I said, I'm going to kind of sim right through the next 3 games of the preseason just to kind of see how the team stacks out and what I need to do or change or fix if need be. But thank you, folks, for stopping by. I will see you around the channel. Goodbye now.